All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the ASAP Network. This is another episode of Freddie Facts. I am Freddie. I will be the host this morning. I know I'm the one that you guys wake up to see each and every day, but I will say on this panel this morning, I will not be the star because I have two people that's two powerful people in this industry that's going to come on here this morning to debate sports with me today. We have the hottest female analyst out there in Sacramento, hell, out there in California, period. She's up and coming. Hey, you've never seen anybody like her. And you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to give her a shout out because they got this fire intro. And I want to ask her if this is her dunking or something because I've seen her put out a basketball move, and I must say I was very surprised. But let's give them some love, the sports sensations, real quick. I would like to welcome Alana Trapp to the show, the sensei. What's going on, sis?
What's going on, bro? Thanks for that intro. I felt like somebody after that intro, man. I appreciate the love, man. But I'm happy to be on Freddie Facts. Let's get into it.
Well, hey, you are somebody. So,
I appreciate it.
like I said, hottest female and a sports analyst series out there. But you look like you can ball a little bit. What I seen in that little video, is that true?
Yeah, I got a little skill there. And actually, so I heard you say you wanted to know about the dunking. So that's actually Ruth. That's actually Ruth the Truth. She was the one that was actually dunking in the promo video. But I do display some of my basketball skills in the intro video as well. So yeah, I used to do my little thing a little bit, and I still hoop now today. So anybody can get it. Anybody can get it.
I got you. Cool, cool, cool. And then we got our brother. He's down there in Southern California. You've seen him around the network
Okay.
as well. He got a show called Speaking with Judgment with Jonathan Mathis. You guys seen him this Thursday. Delivered the one and only Jonathan Mathis. What's going on, Jonathan?
Hey, what's going on, Freddie? What's going on, Alana? It's been a while. It's been a minute. I'm happy to be here this morning. Early, it's cloudy outside, but hey, I'm here talking sports with you guys, and this is perfect timing because today is the start of the NBA playoffs. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I want to appreciate all the comments. So just dropping down right now. First of all, Tony, I
My
love
brother
Alana. I really do.
Tony.
What's up,
I
Tony?
love
What's up, Michael?
I
So
love
Mike
Alana. I
comment.
really do. But she ain't gonna be no bus driver on this show. Not on this
Man,
show
yeah, man,
because it's
y'all.
called Freddie Facts. This ain't Sports Sensays or any other show. This is Freddie Facts. So let's keep that real. I'm the bus driver, but let's get to it. You know, I I had to just bring up this topic when I have you two on here today because
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan and myself is avid Laker fans. We believe purple and gold. That's what we
Mm-hmm.
rock. Hey, it don't matter. We don't. Hey, me and him was celebrating that the Clippers lost last night. We were celebrating. Hell, a lot of them might have been celebrating as well.
Yeah, I would say I was right there with y'all.
Hey, in dedication to the Clippers, I had to go ahead and get them Clippers on my edge up this morning. Dedication to them. I had to go and get that taken care of. Um, so what I'm about to say is, I'm very sad right now because today is the first day of the playoffs, and my Lakers, Alana's favorite player, because she's not a Laker fan. She's not a Laker
No,
fan. She's a
not at
LeBron
all.
fan.
And
She's a
them,
LeBron fan. She don't have a
that
basketball team. She have a
don't
basketball player,
and do.
whatever that is. I've never heard we in the new age basketball where you don't have a team. Well, because LeBron, he ain't like Kobe. He ain't like Dirk Nowitzki. He's not like all these players that stayed in one franchise. He bounced around just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. So she's a LeBron James fan, which makes her that ties her down to the Lakers. So, this year was not in Lakers expectations because I was telling somebody this yesterday. Lakers fans, or Lakers period, we don't care about going to a conference finals. We don't care about making it to the finals. We don't care about them. Hell, we seen the Minnesota Timberwolves celebrating like it was a championship the other
Oh
night.
my
See,
goodness. Woo.
that won't fly in LA. They won't fly in LA because it's either
Mm-mm.
championship or bust every year.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we're bad, it's championship or bust. We don't celebrate more victories. So this year was a disappointing on all kind of levels. But who is the biggest blame do you believe for this season, Sensei?
Um, I think in this particular season, obviously there's enough blame to go around, in my personal opinion. But if I would pick a particular person, I would start with Rob Pelinka because I feel like Rob lost a little bit of control this season, a lot of control, honestly, and I think that he was too passive in regards to the Lakers' moves, and he just kind of did things that he felt like would appease Laker Nation and appease LeBron in a sense. And it's like at some point, being the owner of the team, you got to kind of put your foot down and say, okay, I hear you, but I think this is what's best, and we're gonna go this route because of X, Y, and like for whatever the reason is. And so I feel like had he been a little bit more assertive, some of the moves that were made probably wouldn't have transpired. The Russ trade does still absolutely, that's the worst trade the Lakers have ever made in history, and honestly, because that situation was never going to work. But like I said, it's really enough blame to go around. But if I'm gonna start the blame somewhere, to me, it has to. And honestly, you could put Jeannie Buss in this too, because her and Rob Pelinka are pretty much the same person at this point. So those two would be my go-tos as far as like who deserves the brunt of the blame, as far as the Lakers failures, if you will, for this season.
Jonathan, who are you going with?
Yeah, there's plenty of blame to go around for this casualty that we witnessed this season with the Lakers team. Um, but the one person that you have to blame are, I'll say, the two people that you have to pin the blame on are Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka. The front office made a mess, and now it's up to them to clean it up moving forward. It wasn't all Frank Vogel's fault. Yes, Frank Vogel gets the blame. Frank Vogel was used as a good scapegoat in this entire situation, which is why he was fired. And yes, he was the fall guy in all of this. Was he the guy to point the finger at completely? Absolutely not. I could point the finger at everybody on this team. I could stand in the middle of the circle and turn my body completely around and point the finger at everybody, for how poorly this team played this season. But Rob Pelinka is to blame. Like Alana said, he was passive, wasn't aggressive enough, didn't, swing for the fences during the trade deadline. I thought they should have made a move. They didn't. The Lakers weren't very proactive in making moves. And, Jeannie Buss is the bigger person to blame because she trusts in Rob Pelinka. She handed him the keys to run this franchise, and so far he's done a poor job. It looks like the credit goes to and Freddie, I'm gonna say it, the credit goes to Magic Johnson because Magic Johnson was the one that brought LeBron on board, not Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka was in the same room, but he wasn't the one really making those personnel decisions. And now that Magic is not by his side anymore, it's all up to Rob Pelinka to make those decisions. And now we're seeing that the guy is not that great of a general manager. And then listening to LeBron, you can't always pacify LeBron. LeBron has to understand that he can't always have his way. Yes, he asked for this team. He wanted this team. He wanted these players, he wanted this collection of talent. Unfortunately, it backfired. It didn't, go the way as planned. Yes, expectations soared this season because of the foundation that the Lakers built, but it just didn't work out. So I think the front office is to blame for what took place this season, which was an utter disaster.
Okay, first of all, Frank Vogel was set up from day one.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
not from day one. He did not have a fair chance. You know, the Lakers wanted Ty Lue, but we know that the Lakers was not willing him to give him extra years. They wanted to pick out his bench, and he wasn't having it. Okay, so Frank Vogel, he was working at ESPN. He was chilling. Hey, you know what? I would love to come back to coach. I mean, who wouldn't want to coach for the Lakers, especially when you have a LeBron James and Anthony Davis in that team? But we're going to pick your coaching staff out, Frank. That was the first problem. A lot of coaches not going to be okay with that. So, but he also didn't have a lot of dictate in the roster. Frank Vogel have his bones on the defensive side of basketball. You bring in guys like Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk, Wayne Ellington, guys like that who are not known to play defense. You let go your young Alex Caruso, a defensive player. You let KCP go, defensive player. You let these defensive minded players go that play defense. So that's first thing on Frank Vogel. But the biggest blame, and I'm about the number one blame, is Jeannie Buss. It's Jeannie Buss, and it gotta be because there's no deal that goes on with the Lakers that she do not sign off on. There's not a deal that goes through that franchise that she do not know about. You and then the influencers that's around her. You have Kirk Rambis and Linda Rambis that's all of a sudden making decisions for the franchise. Jeannie, I have news for you. Kirk Rambis was not that great of a coach. He was not. Hell, he wasn't that great of a player, but you're listening to him. So this is the problem I have with Jeannie. And I love Jeannie. I really, really do, because she's the sweetest lady there is in sports. She have to be influenced. She have to be guided. Who was it that she had to go to talk about removing her brother a few years ago in Jim Buss? Who was? She had to go to Magic and she had to go to Kobe. It wasn't just a decision that he just made on her own. When she was about to get rid of Magic, well, no, she didn't get rid of Magic. Magic quit. I'm sorry. I apologize. People don't want to say it. Magic quit on the Lakers. I mean, it is facts. He got up and he decided he didn't even want to talk to G.
It was just too much for him to bear, I think.
Yeah.
But still, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I hated how he did it. You come up here with a a little press conference. Please go talk to her. I mean, come on, Magic. You're better than that, bro.
Right.
But still, Jeannie Buss is influenced by too many people. Hell, they're even talking about Phil Jackson coming back giving advice. Like Phil Jackson, like if you ain't going out there to coach, I don't want to hear from you, Phil, because you can't put a team together. We seen what happened down there in New York, so I don't want to hear from you. And then
Mhm.
Rob Pelinka, he lost his bones once Kobe Bryant died. God rest his soul. Ain't no other team in the NBA is going to give that man a job as a general manager. There's no team out there. The only reason why he got the job was because of Kobe. I believe Kobe was helping influence those decisions behind the closed doors because Kobe was not a guy that he didn't want to be front and center. He didn't want to be seen. He would be okay doing things behind closed doors. So now Rob Palinka's lost. Now this organization's lost. Now you do have to give some blame to LeBron because
Mhm.
LeBron, he'll put pressure on you. He'll put pressure
Mhm.
on you. And
Mhm.
if you don't make him happy, then guess what? He's gonna start bringing down the pressure. But that's why I think if you heard him in his exit interview that he said he's gonna lead that to the front office this year because I believe
Mhm.
he understands that okay, this year was a lot on me. I'm the reason why they brought in Russ because we
Mhm.
heard Magic, and by the way, I don't like that Magic did this because I don't like former Lakers airing out the dirty laundry because the Lakers. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. Everything that happened with the Lakers this year, how they fired Frank Vogel and all that, it happens to every team. But guess what?
Mhm.
It's a magnifying glass because it's the Lakers, it's
Mhm.
Hollywood. I mean, so they love this. The media loves this. So Magic is
Mhm.
just feeding into it, going off telling their stories and stuff. But still, they had DeMar DeRozan, but LeBron wanted Russ, and we all know Russ didn't work. And by the way, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you because you know what my mom always say. I can show you better than I can tell you how Russ didn't work. All our viewers out there, just watch this little clip I've made real quick.
Oh god.
Let's show the world.
Oh my
Let's
goodness.
show the world. Can y'all see that?
Yeah,
Shoot.
There you go.
yeah, we could see it.
Oh my
All right,
god.
Russ. AD. What? Whoa, man. All
Yeah,
right.
just terrible.
Hit
Absolutely
the
terrible.
man in the head. All right, Russ. Let's see the bully him. Bully. Ooh, ooh.
Come on. Like
What
he
you?
used to...
And,
Oh my
and you
god.
know what bothered me more than anything was his ill-advised shots. Like he would just jack up a bunch of shots and miss them.
Oh, he got a little bit.
It
Oh,
that
yeah,
that
whatever,
and
man.
that
Whatever.
and the lack of self-awareness.
The lack of self-awareness, right? And you
Like
know, with your speed and your skill set, why don't you drive to the basket more? Be more of a
what he just
facilitator.
did right there and he
You
turned
know,
the ball over.
right? He'll turn the ball over. Just be more
But
of a facilitator.
but the thing is, Jonathan, he was missing dunks. We seen Russell Westbrook miss dunks this
Layups.
year. We've never
Yeah,
seen that.
yeah. He
Hmm.
was horrible.
But,
I like I
I'm
like
gonna
I
tell you
like I
this.
keep saying, he messed with the team chemistry. The Lakers were better off without him.
Yeah, much
But
better.
I'm gonna tell you this though. I did you guys watch Frank Vogel? Not Frank Vogel. Rob Palinka's exit interview.
I
I
heard
haven't
bits
seen
and
it.
pieces of it, but I didn't hear the whole entire
I
thing.
watched it. I watched it. And I'm gonna tell you this. Excuse my French. What I'm about to say. He is an
Uh oh.
arrogant prick. He's the arrogant prick. I'm gonna tell you this.
That's probably
He
why him
and
and Kobe got along. If you think about it. I
hey,
mean,
Dave McMiniman,
Yep.
he was awesome. I love how he asked this question, and I'm paraphrasing right now. I don't know word by word, but he asked him this. He was asked about Frank Vogel. Hey Rob, you let go all your young pieces, all your defensive minded pieces, but you don't have guys that's really known to play defense. He didn't, and Frank Vogel didn't have no say so in this roster. But you expect them to be a great defensive team, but you expected them to win. How is that? And then he gonna say, "Oh, today's not the day we're going to be pointing fingers at anybody." And then he also said quotes in this. Oh, good morning, Sean. Good morning to all the. Good morning, Bishop. To all, everybody's watching this. Thank you for tuning into the ASAP network. This is Freddie Facts. Please make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, look us up on Tiki Live and all that great stuff as well. And then he goes on to say that there that all the decisions lies on his shoulders.
Mhm.
But he never did once take accountability to say, you know what, this year is on me. I make the decisions. I messed up. I should have did this. He never did say that. He always wanted to blame somebody else in that interview, and I don't like that. I do not.
Mhm.
Listen, hell, you fired Frank Vogel. Rob Palinka should have been on the chopping block. The Rambuses should be on the chopping block. I would,
Yep.
if I'm
I
Mhm.
Genie,
agree.
if you want
I'm
to,
clean
if
house.
I'm Genie, and you,
Yeah.
yeah, if
It's
I'm
time
Genie,
for it's time for spring cleaning.
if I'm
It's time
Genie,
to
and if
clean the
you,
entire house and just get some fresh bodies in there. It's time to rebuild this team. This team needs to be revamped
if
if
Yeah.
they
I'm
are going
Genie,
to have any success moving forward. Because I just don't
if
see it,
I'm
and they
Genie,
need a strong coach
if,
that's going to restore credibility as well.
if I'm Genie, the first thing I'm doing is find Rob Palinka. I'm calling the GM down there in Toronto. I can't say his name. I'm calling him. I'm trying to get him down there no at all costs. I'm trying to, hey,
Mhm.
how much money you want, what you want? I got you.
Mhm.
Then I'm getting rid of all these voices, and it's gonna be just me and the GM, just me and
Right.
him, nobody else. Then
Mhm.
I'm hiring Mark Jackson, a coach that's not gonna be a pushover, a coach that's going to allow his voice is going to be heard. Mark Jackson can still coach in this league. He's just being blackballed. This guy knows he's a player's coach. Players love
Mhm.
him. You know, hey, that's the first thing. And then Russ, I'm calling every team out there. Hell, I'm even calling the G League. Say anybody want him? Anybody
I'm
want
telling.
him?
I'm
Do
telling
you
you.
want a bag of chips with him as well? Because I can give you a bag of chips. What do you want? Oh, Bishop, we gotta get rid of Russ. He gotta go. He that and you know what? I'm gonna say this. It's really not much about his season why he gotta go. It's really the things that he say. When you come up and say you had no expectations to be a Laker, hey, he better be glad Kobe Bean Bryant is gone. He better be, because
That
I'm gonna tell you this, that is magic off. Could you imagine what Kobe would have done if he would have heard some mess like
oh,
that?
Kobe would have showed up right at Staples the next day and been like, "Get in the car, we're
I,
going for a
I'm
ride."
telling you.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, you can't say those things as a Laker. You just can't. And
I mean, I
then
but that,
you
understand
want to
it might have came out of frustration. It might have,
no, no,
but
no,
but
no.
you
but
still
still,
Hey,
you
hey,
you
still don't
can't.
say
Jonathan,
that.
No,
You
you
Jonathan,
still
can't
can't
say
say
that.
that.
You can't say
You
that.
can't say that.
It,
No.
it it
Dwight
doesn't matter how
Howard.
frustrated you get. You're making $47 million. You cannot be the person to say that. I'm sorry. It don't matter
Dwight
how frustrated,
Howard.
and you can't be mad at nobody but yourself.
Right.
But go ahead, Freddie.
Dwight Howard the first year when he came the first time he came to LA with Kobe and all of them, he didn't even say no mess like that.
Mm-mm. Oh, psh.
He
He
knew
didn't
better.
say no mess like that. And then he also threw LeBron and AD under the bus. I don't know if you guys heard the exit interview. Because the reporter said LeBron and AD told you to be you, continue to be you, and he said, "Oh no, that's not true. They didn't say
Yeah,
that.
he's out. He's
What?
out.
Yeah. He's been out.
He's
What?
been out. Yeah.
LeBron has been done with him since. Well, I forgot what game it was, and LeBron was looking at the score sheet, and Russ was looking like a scared child sitting next to him because he knew your days here are numbered, sir. It's over with.
And
I
then
don't think
you have the nerve to,
I don't think nobody was on the same page. Nobody.
Mm-mm,
and then
mm-mm.
you had the nerve to go at Frank Vogel. If anybody was your biggest supporter, Russ, guess who it was? It was Frank Vogel. The front office wanted to have you coming off the bench.
And
But who said no?
yeah.
And then the last thing the Lakers need to do, I believe this need to be a worldwide thing that we need to do. Maybe a couple times this summer. We all need to come together, all hold hands. This whole world needs to. We need to bow our heads and we need to pray. We need to pray for Anthony Davis that he can go through a whole season without getting banged up, without getting hurt. We need prayer. That's the only thing that can help him not getting hurt. And I love AD because AD healthy. He's right. When he's healthy, he's a problem. But
Yeah, he just can't stay. He need to do that LeBron investment and get that paid. Spend $1 million on his body or 2 million, whatever, how much ever money Brown spends. I know he spends quite a bit of money on his body. He need to do that. Make that same investment because
so you know,
he
I
softer than me.
understand.
Yeah, he
And I
he needs
understand because I mean he
a
is long in
workout
the league.
regimen, something.
And
He has to a new he needs to hire a new physical trainer or do something to help him stay healthy.
you
Because
know what?
that's been the
But you
problem
know
with
what you
him,
got?
his health. You know, he hasn't been able to stay on the court.
Yeah.
And I
But you
I
know what you
really
guys?
believe this. If he had stayed on the court, Freddie and Alana, I really believe this. The Lakers would have made the playoffs. If not the playoffs, they would have at least had a chance to play in the play-in tournament.
I agree with that.
But you know what? I will say this. I do agree with him to say that most of his injuries are like freak accidents. Because if that was
Yeah.
anybody jumping up and they fall down on Rudy Gobert's foot, guess what? More than likely they're gonna sprain the ankle. When somebody
Yeah.
dives in their ankles, hell, we seen it last year when who was it that dived in LeBron's ankles? Once he dived in LeBron's ankle, it was pretty much over. He was an older
I
guy. He's a
forgot his
powerful.
name. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot his name, but I know I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, it happens. I mean, it do happen, but it's like, dang, man, like this the second injury this year when AD got hurt. It was like, man, like this is just bad luck. Like bad luck is with us. Like I felt hurt. I was devastated when he got hurt. I mean, I was like, and look, LeBron injuries have been freak accidents. If you look about him, his
Yeah.
tenure with the Lakers, the first one was when he first came to Golden State. When he was in Golden State, the first year was a fourth seed driving down the lane, slipped on the bubble puddle, and then growing. He missed, pretty much out for the rest of the season. Then he
Yeah.
had the championship season the next year. Then that third year, that was last year. Was when, like I said, somebody dived into his ankle, and then so I mean, a lot of it is freak accidents, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. But it ain't what it ain't. But hey, one thing I know, we'll be back. They'll do what they got to do to get us back into contention because this is what LA do. We purple and gold. This one thing I know. We gonna rebound from this, and
For
next
sure.
year, all y'all jokers going to talk to me in June next year. Just know it. I'm coming. I'm waiting. Right now, Freddie Gunn is paused. I took the clip out a little bit, but it's not all the way out. It's just out just a little bit. But guess what? Next year we locked, loaded, and ready to blast, and we're gonna be ready
Indeed.
to go.
For sure.
but
Agreed.
sis, we got
Yes.
to talk. We
Okay.
already know everything that went down with Kyrie Irving this year. We
Mm-hmm.
know down with the Brooklyn Nets. If they win the championship this year, what would that
Mm-hmm.
mean for him?
That would mean a lot. That would put Kyrie in a completely different conversation. Because right now we look at Kyrie as currently constructed, even with all the off the court stuff, even with all the problems and his way of thinking or his religious practices or COVID, like whatever, all the extra stuff. Like even with all that considered, he's still one of the top most offensively skilled guys in the league. Period. Whether he's playing or not, like there's not too many guys who are that just freakishly gifted on the offensive end like Kyrie. But if he is able to win a championship this year, like I said, it puts him in a different conversation because even though he is an NBA champion, even though he did hit, the world renowned shot, he's still kind of in that LeBron shadow just for the simple fact that it's always he won with LeBron. It's never, where he was the main focal point, or he was the guy, or he was considered to be the leader of the quote unquote team, or if they don't have Kyrie, then they can't win. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like up until this point, it's always been, yeah, he's a champion, but he won with LeBron. Yeah, he, averaged such and such in the finals, but he was playing next to LeBron. So if he wins the championship this year with everything that he's gone through, and I mean, just even in his own stubbornness, and kind of standing his ground and being like, this is the kind of man I am, this is what I do, this is what I believe, and he's able to win doing it his way, pretty much. I mean, like I said, we got to talk about Kyrie completely different. He's going to be in that Steph realm. He's going to be, you know what I'm saying, and like that top point guard class. So this would mean a lot for Kyrie's legacy, definitely, if he's able to pull off a championship this year, or even within the next coming 2 to 3 years. If they're able to put that team together with the Nets and make a serious championship run, and they end up winning it within the next couple of years, even still, like, it doesn't have to be this year, but if he's able to snag another championship, like I said, we have to put Kyrie in a different stratosphere at that point, because you can't associate it with LeBron anymore. You can't say, well, you only won because of X, Y, and Z, because he is a main focal point of that Brooklyn Nets team. Like, he you know what I'm saying, without him, we saw what happened last year. Because without James Harden, I think if it was Kyrie and KD, they still would have an opportunity to go to the finals. KD doesn't have to play all those minutes. Kyrie, you know what I'm saying, relieve some of that pressure off of KD, and maybe the game plays out differently. So I believe, like I said, if he's able to win it this year, or even if they're able to get a shot at going to the finals, it puts Kyrie in a different conversation, in my opinion.
He really already should be. He really already should be in a different conversation.
No, to most people he is, but I'm just saying, to, like, you know what I'm saying, the
right
consensus, he would be in another, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Look, when this man is on his game, he is probably the best point guard in the league. I mean, he has great ball handling skills. He can knock down jump shots. He can distribute the basketball. He could be a facilitator on the floor. So what would a championship mean for Kyrie Irving? I think it would mean a lot. It would definitely add to his legacy, a growing legacy, that is. I think this would definitely mean a lot for him. And you got to realize, too, he's still playing in the shadows of KD. He still has a big name playing alongside him. But I definitely think this is huge for him. If he does win, considering all the things that he's gone through, with the vaccination drama, you had games and nights where he took off and didn't want to show up, and then and also he lost one of his good friends. I always bring that up too. He lost Kobe Bryant. That was a good friend to him. So winning a championship this year, he'll definitely pay tribute to Kobe Bryant, and he'll definitely have him on his mind during this title chase. And I think it's just great for him and his legacy. And, a lot of people believe in him, but I think what people hold against him is his personal beliefs, the vaccination and all that stuff. But that shouldn't really matter. Put all that aside, and let's judge him based on what he does on the basketball court. And what he does on the basketball court is absolutely amazing.
What it would mean to Kyrie Irving is that no matter what, he's still one of the best. He's still top 5 point guard in the league. It meant that he can finally say, he was a big contributor at Cleveland when they won, but he can say, okay, I was one of the main pieces on this team, because he is number 2. And if they're going to Brooklyn Nets, in order for them to win, he needs to put up big numbers. I'm talking about he needs to average about 30, 35 points a night, if not more. Facilitate, because he is the point guard. Bishop said he got him number 1. Nah, he's not number 1, Brody. I'm sorry. And
no.
He still got Mr. Curry down there.
Yeah, like you
Got
tripping. Like
Ja
I mean,
Morant.
he's top 5, but he ain't number 1. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah. But it would mean the world to him, and just to do it right there in the city of Brooklyn, where he's from, his family would be there. That would mean even much more to him as well. So yeah, I mean, it was just especially with that team that went through all this year, and for them to come
Hmm.
back to win, that'd be remarkable. But next question is, if they lose, who is it to blame, and just how much credit we can give them? Hey, if they lose, you can put a lot of that blame on Kyrie. You can put a lot of that blame on Kyrie because just like Bishop said, if he was allowed to play beginning of the season, they wouldn't be in the play-in. Well,
Yeah.
he can change that. I mean, let's be real. Like, hey, I understand he got his beliefs, and I applaud you for sticking with it. I really do. But
Mhm.
if anybody could have changed that, it could have been him.
Yeah.
Um, and he's a part of the reason why James Harden wanted out. Because let's not forget when those three played, they didn't really lose much. He did not really. He did not. They did not. I forgot what the record was, but when those three played and he was healthy, they was a hard team to beat. James Harden wasn't. He James Harden in the mindset right now. He wants to win. He
Mhm.
feel like that's the last thing that he has to accomplish in this league to be known as one of the all-time greats. And he feel like that's
Mhm.
the last. That's the reason why he went to Brooklyn. KD has been in and out the lineup due to injuries. Can't help injuries. It's a part of the game. But Kyrie Irving, him being missing, him um, not showing up, for different reasons. Um, Part of the reason why James Harden wanted out. Was coming out too that James Harden he came out looking like me, a little out of shape, just a little bit. Hey, who knows? But hey, the person that you can blame will be Kyrie Irving. Sensei, do you agree? Do you see any? And hold on, I got to put some blame
Mhm.
to Steve Nash as well because I'm not too much of a fan of Steve Nash as a head coach. I just believe he don't have the experience. He's too young. He didn't really get his bones in this business. I like to see a coach be brought up maybe as an assistant, then work your way up. He kind of, just because who he is, to kind of cheated the game. With a lot of our people
Yeah.
don't get that type of opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with the last part. I don't agree that it will be on Kyrie if they lose. Like I'm not gonna blame that on Kyrie if they lose I because we can't say like it's because that's a situation where it's like it's a what if. Like, okay, so what if, Kyrie was available for the whole season? Like, maybe they wouldn't be in the play-in, but would they still be a high seed? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the problems with James were going to be the problems with James. He never wanted to be in Brooklyn in the first place. So he was going to leave eventually as is. So let's just say they still make that trade at the same time that they make that trade. They still don't have Ben Simmons available, and they just got Kyrie and KD. They still don't have a bench. They still don't play defense. So all of those problems persist whether Kyrie's there or not. So I can't say if they lose, then it falls at Kyrie's feet. Now, does he bear some of the blame? Of course, because he is a part of that team. So when you lose, you win as a team, you lose as a team. But the sole blame is not. I'm not going to put that on Kyrie. I'm going to put that on coaching because Steve Nash is not a coach. He's not a player's coach. He's not a coach at all. He's a person that stands on the sideline, and that's it. Like he might as well be a referee. Like
So
he's
let me
not
ask you a
calling.
question.
He's
Would you
not
rather
doing
him or Frankie V? Which one would you rather have?
neither. Like I
No,
would
no, no,
not
no, no.
say.
You got to pick. You got to pick.
Oh, I mean Frank Vogel. At least I would take Frank because at least Frank is going to give you some kind of defensive and offensive scheme. Steve Nash's whole sole plan is put the ball in Kevin Durant's hand and we'll just see what happens. Like that's his sole. Like after every game that every close game that they win, you see him hug Kevin Durant so tight because he's thank God because you are keeping my job. Because if Steve Nash was coaching somebody else that a team that did not have Kevin Durant, Steve Nash would have been fired by the end before the end of the season. Let's just keep it all like he's not a coach. He's just a standing position. How he got a job over Mark Jackson is still mind blowing and just completely blasphemous. But that's another story for another day. But
No, we're
If
gonna
they
talk about
lose,
that in a few minutes. You brought up a good point.
oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it when that I'll bring that point back around when we get there. But yeah, I gotta place the blame at Steve Nash's feet. It's even like I said, even if they do have Kyrie, there's no guarantee that they're gonna be a top team. You know what I'm saying? Like they still could have been bottom of the barrel. They could have been a 7th or an 8th seed instead of being in the play-in, or a 6th seed instead of being in the play-in. Because again, like I said, the same problems that they have currently are they're still going to persist with or without Kyrie. So I'm saying, I can't put the blame at his feet. But if it comes down to it, which I don't think that they're going to advance to the finals unless, even if they get Ben Simmons back, I just don't think that that's something that's going to click that soon and they're going to make a run. If they do, I'd be surprised. But when they do lose, you got to look at Steve Nash because there's way too much talent on that team to not make it work.
All right, Jonathan, who deserved the most? If the Brooklyn Nets lose, in the playoffs, who do you blame the most?
They're gonna blame Ben Simmons. No, I'm kidding. Jokes aside,
well, you can.
But in all seriousness, I'm kind of leaning towards what Alana said about Steve Nash, because you have all this talent, and as the coach, it's your job to keep them organized and make sure they play on a consistent level, a consistent brand of basketball, and to also make sure that these guys keep up and play their best brand of basketball. But I think Kevin Durant would get most of the blame. And I say that because of who he is. He is the face of that team. He is the superstar on that team. And I feel like every time something goes wrong with the Brooklyn Nets, all you hear about is KD this, KD that. And the fans, you have hostile fans out there, bitter fans out there, and anytime, he takes a fall, they like to blame him. They like to go after him because they know they can use him as an internet punchline, because this is a man who had burner accounts in the past, right? and he showed his emotion and took his frustration out on fans. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if we hear at the end of it all, if the Nets don't make it to the finals, that KD is a subject of a meme, or that he's the person that's been blamed for how everything turned out for this Nets team. So I think Kevin Durant's going to take the blame now. Is that fair? No, it's not, because again, Steve Nash is the guy that's coaching. He didn't really have coaching credentials. He was just a name. He's a former NBA player. And, he happened to land the job in Brooklyn. And like Alana said, he puts the ball in KD's hands a lot, and he expects him to carry the load when they have a lot of other players, that can execute, that can be, a huge
fact standard
for that offense. So I think, you definitely can look at Nash and say, well, maybe he wasn't that guy all along. Maybe he was just a former superstar that walked into the job,
That's exactly what happened.
So,
and I want to address something real quick.
Right?
I want to address something real quick. Bishop, no disrespect, but it was on Kyrie the reason why he couldn't play. Kyrie had a decision. He chose not to play. Hey, like I said, I'm not. Hey, he had the right to do that, and so we can't just say, "Oh, he didn't have. He couldn't play. He didn't get a chance to play." Well, yes, he did. He had an option. He had a choice. He chose his option. So, and he stood by it. So, but
yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me say something real quick, because Sean says, doesn't all coaches expect their superstars to carry the load? Yes, but to carry the majority of the load, to just put the ball in your super. Okay. So let me make sure I'm explaining this correctly. So most coaches, yes, they place the ball in their superstars' hands usually like at the end of the game when they like, okay, I need you to bring us home. That's the moment where they place the ball in the superstar's hands and say, okay, I need you to carry the load. Not when we tip off the ball and say, okay, you got it. Like that's pretty much what Steve Nash is doing. Like it's not to the, you know what I'm saying? Like he's pretty much like, all right, so this is what we're gonna do. We got Kevin Durant, we got Kyrie. You guys do whatever you're gonna do, and then everybody else around y'all make it work. That's not It's not a winning formula. It's not really how that's supposed to go. Like, yes, you're supposed to expect your superstar to be able to carry some of the load, a brunt of the load, but the entire thing from start to finish, that's where the problem lies for me.
I want to get back on the topic of the coaching situation. And I want to ask, do we have a problem? We know we have a problem with African Americans or minorities periods getting coaching jobs, but not
Yeah.
just coaching jobs, valuable coaching jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Because we look at a oh man, it's named and Chauncey Billups.
Mm-hmm.
Portland. At first it looked like a valuable job, but it's not really too valuable. Because I mean, you have no CJ. I mean, I'm pretty sure they knew coming into the season that was a possibility that it was going to blow their team up. But I guess my question is, can we really blame KD? Can we blame KD, Kyrie Irving, for not standing up for our African American coach? Well, let's not forget that they stood up for Steve Nash. They wanted him. Well, KD wanted him. Kyrie was like, I don't need no coach. But KD, we reported that he stood up for CJ. But instead of them standing up for Steve Nash, couldn't they stood up for like a Mark Jackson, or some other minority coach, to get a job? No, Bishop, no. No,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. No, yeah. You
What I'm
missing the mark.
talking
Bishop.
about
You
is
losing me.
the,
You
the job
losing
that
me.
we'll get like if you look at the Dwayne Casey, great coach down there in Detroit. You would get jobs like the Orlando Magic or something
Right.
like that. These
Yeah.
teams that's rebuild.
Basically, we don't get put in situations where we can be successful.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
pretty much
like
it's
if
pretty
we
much
don't turn,
it's pretty much a dumpster fire from the start.
Right.
Like,
They're coaching
yeah,
inferior
if we
teams
don't
and
turn
not
those
teams
teams,
that's
if we,
contending.
there you go.
if we don't turn that team around in a year or two, then guess
Out
what?
of there.
They want to give us the boot. It's hard for us to get a job.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So do you guys have a problem with these players not standing up for minorities to get a coaching job at this highest level?
They're not going to, Freddie. They're not going to. A lot of our people, and I hate to say it, I always say this, but they don't stand up for each other. A lot of our people don't look out for the black community. I talked about this before, and I don't know, if it's intimidation or if they just want to be at the top and don't want to see anyone else rise to their level. I don't know what it is, but that's been a problem for a very long time. And I think that's why we're in the situation we are in. But I would like to see more black athletes use their voice, use their platform wisely, and support African American coaches and help them land a job at a place where they can win and succeed and hopefully win an NBA championship. You got a lot of young, successful black coaches that's well deserving of a job somewhere in the NBA. You talked about Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson is my top candidate to take the Lakers job. Look what Ty Lue has done with the Clippers. You got a lot of young black coaches with a high IQ to be a coach, and they are very well fit for the job. We talked about this being a problem in the NFL, and it's the same problem in the NBA. It just goes unnoticed. Why? I don't know. But it's the same problem in the NBA as well. But yes, I would like to see more African American players, black players, in the NBA particularly, voice their opinions about this and say, hey, you know what? Black coaches are just as deserving as well. We don't just belong on the floor wearing a jersey and shooting a basketball. We should be on the sideline as well with a board in our hand, drawing up plays and coaching the game of basketball just like everybody else.
That agreed. And this is no shot at you, Jonathan, but I hate the notion of the whole we don't want to see each other win, or the crabs in the barrel mentality. Basically, is I guess is a better term, because in a way that there is truth to that, because there are times, and there are situations where we don't support each other, when we don't stand together, and we don't have each other's back, and we don't, pretty much lift each other up, or whatever the case may be. I don't think that is all the way the case in this particular situation as it pertains to minority coaches, because I do feel like there have been a lot of players that have come out and have said, I mean, even we can use Mark Jackson, for example, like that have come out and say, like, there's no reason he shouldn't be a head coach, like that have vouched for him. If I'm remembering this correctly, when he got let go from the Warriors players were not very happy about the Steve Kerr hiring at first, because they felt like they had built the foundation that they had built as the Warriors currently constructed was from the foundation that Mark Jackson had put in place. And even still, there are people that that live by that to this day. Like I was just watching the Draymond and Steph interview the other day, and they both said the same thing. Like, yeah, like we're successful with Steve Kerr. We won championships with Steve Kerr, and we'll be forever grateful for that. However, this foundation that of us being successful started with Mark Jackson. Now, the flip side of that is that I think a lot of times when it comes to minority coaches is that they aren't pushovers, and most white coaches are. And the superstars of today, they don't really want coaches. They want people that can present it as their coaching, but they can still in a way control them. That's why Steve Nash was a popular hire for the Brooklyn Nets, because KD wanted, because Steve Nash ain't gonna challenge KD. He ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not gonna jump in KD's face and tell him he needs to, play better, and he's not gonna do that. Mark Jackson will. Dwayne Casey will. You know what I'm saying? Like, players, like coaches like that are gonna coach Mike Brown, he'll do it. But a player like a coach like Steve Nash isn't gonna. He's just lucky to be there. He along for the ride. Same with Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr ain't gonna yell at Steph Curry. Steve Kerr ain't gonna jump in Draymond's face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna do that. He's along for the ride. So it's like you got to look at it from all angles. And the biggest deciding factor is the owners. You got to look at the owners too, because the owners are, at the end of the day, they make the final decisions. Players can suggest things all they want. If the owner says no, that's what it is. Those are the billionaires. Those are the people that are signing the checks. So it got to start from the top and trickle down. So I don't know if that means, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that means that, in the next NBA Player Association meetings, they need to say, we need to change the culture as far as like the owners, or sit down with the owners and say, like, there needs to be a little bit more diverse. Like, I don't know what that really looks like, but there's a lot of different factors as to why minority coaches don't get, like Freddie said, put in valuable coaching positions. You know what I'm saying? They want you to scratch and claw, because the moment that but then it's I don't know. There's, like I said, there's just so many ways I can go with that, but I don't want to be rambling. So go ahead, Freddie.
We have a few more minutes. We can get one last topic in there. I'm very interested to see who you guys have winning it all. Who do you guys have winning the 2022 NBA championship? Even though the purple and gold's not in there, the Lakers not in there.
Man. I don't even know. Like, this year is such a toss up. I feel like every team in the playoffs has an opportunity to win. I don't know, man. Who you? I'm gonna let bro go. I'm not sure, man.
Well, the field this year is wide open in the NBA, but I think it's coming out of the West this year. I'm gonna go with the Phoenix Suns. I'm gonna ride with the Phoenix Suns, and here's why. They were there a year ago. They fell short. They have unfinished business. Chris Paul is still looking for his first championship ring. I think he realized this is his chance to get that championship ring this year. They're well coached. Monty Williams has done a great job, coaching that team. He's brilliant. You have Devin Booker in the backcourt. You have a great supporting cast around Devin Booker and Chris Paul. It's a prolific backcourt. They play defense. They hustle up and down the floor on both ends of the floor. I like the Phoenix Suns to win it all. I just feel like they're a collective bunch that's playing at such a high level. They showed it this year. They dominated in the West. I think they continue to dominate in the postseason.
I'm glad you feel that way. I have the Grizzlies
I'm not
beating
mad
the
at it.
Suns this year. I have Ja
Mm.
Morant going down there to Phoenix, Arizona, and beating the Phoenix Suns in 7 games. Who I win the championship? I'm going
Mm.
with a team that knows what it takes to win the championship. I'm a team that knows what to do when they're facing adversity. A team that is very experienced in this moment at this point. I'm going with I'm going with the champions of last year, the Milwaukee Bucks. Everybody they've been
Mm.
coasting. Nobody really been talking about it. Nobody been really
That's a
talking
good
about it.
point. That's a
But
good
guess
point.
what? They know what it takes. See, I didn't like the fact that Phoenix was still playing CP3 and Devin Booker. See, they did to me. That's doing the same thing the Warriors did that year when they went 73-9. You remember this? See, people don't want to forget it, but
Oh, I remember
they
that year. I remember that was a good year.
I bet it was. They was too busy worried about the record instead of trying to, what? Let's give fewer guys some rest. Let them get ready for the postseason. And we know what it is when it comes to CP3 health when it comes around this time. Him and James Harden, it seems like their body want to give out every year around this time. So don't be surprised if that happens again. Knock on wood. Don't wish it happened to him, but I'm just going off of experience what normally happens. I believe, Giannis is on a mission to show that, he's one of the best players in this game and hell, all the things that he's accomplished so far, he's going to get there. I mean, the defensive player of the years, the MVPs, the final MVPs, and all that. I mean, hey, the dude is like he's showing people that what people want to they treating him like LeBron. Remember when LeBron was up and coming
Mm-hmm.
and they said he can't shoot and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But guess what? He started changing people's minds, changing the narrative. I believe Giannis is going through that now, where he's showing
Hold on.
everybody that I
Hold
can
on.
dominate at a high level.
Freddie, hold on. I just seen some blasphemous in the comments. Greg, if you ever post that ever again, boy, ain't no Golden State winning no championship this
What
year,
did I
boy.
miss?
He said, I'm going with Golden State.
Remember, it's wide open though.
It is no, it is wide.
It's
It
not.
is wide open.
Is
It
it
is
And
really
wide
that
all it
wide
open.
takes
open?
is all it takes is for a superstar to get injured, and that changes the
It it
whole
it, it
scenario.
definitely it definitely
You know,
here's why Golden State won't win it. Is because it hinges on their big three basically, right? Their nucleus of Clay, Steph, Dre. Clay, now if they can get Clay of old consistently, they could definitely make things interesting. If Clay continues to play the way that he's been playing so far, he's going to be a liability because
He did
Clay's
look better
not.
towards the end of the year, though.
No, he did. No, he did. But I'm just saying, he so far since he's been back, he's been a liability for them because he cannot defend the same way that he once did before. And that's what I was trying to tell people. Like with the injury to a player like Klay Thompson, who is not super athletic, he's not like his game isn't predicated on a lot of different things. He does two things really well. He can get hot with the well. I'll extend it to three. He can get hot faster than probably anybody in the league, maybe even hotter than Steph at times. Like I don't think there's anybody that can get as hot as Klay Thompson when he's in that mode. He's in that mode. That's one. He's great off the ball because he excels at catch and shoot. He can't dribble with the leg, but he excels at catch and shoot. And he was an elite defender. The part of being about being an elite defender is you got to bend your knees. He has had 2 major knee surgeries on both legs. So it you know what I'm saying? It just kind of depends, but we'll see. If I go ahead, Jonathan.
no, go finish your thought.
But but I was just saying. So that's the reason why I would say that they're not going to be. They don't have a chance to win it. Is because, like I said, he's just been too much of a liability for them so far. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna agree with Jonathan. It's definitely gonna come out. I think it's gonna come out of the West this year. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee won it, because, like Freddie said, they've been laying low. Like they just been like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. They just kind of been like in the bushes, just waiting to pounce. And I think once the playoff starts and they kind of get things rolling, they're gonna be a tough out for anybody. But I'm gonna say this really, really quick though. I just want to say this really quick before you go, Freddie. Philly better hope James Harden don't James Harden. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
He hadn't really looked that good in Philadelphia.
It's gonna get bad if he do.
I want to say one thing real quick. I want to respond to Bishop's comment, because he's right. I think the team that's playing against the Miami Heat, the Atlanta Hawks, I think the Hawks are sleepers going into these NBA playoffs. I think they can, have a lot of people talking. Trae Young has a great supporting cast around him. Those guys can flat out shoot. You got Gallinari, always butcher his name. You got Kevin Huerter. You got guys that can knock it down from three, and they are very dangerous shooting the ball from outside. They have, started to play defense a lot better. They tightened things up in that area. The Hawks look like a good team right now. They're well coached. Nate McMillan, my hat off to him for the terrific job that he's done with that team. And all of a sudden, you've seen a turnaround from this Hawks team. One that's hungry, and Trae Young, man. Trae Young is Trae Ice, man. That dude has ice water in his veins. He knows when to turn it on. He knows when it's game time, and he's always game ready. And the Hawks, they've been through the fire a year ago. Freddie's up here shaking his head, but they've been through the fire a year ago. They've been through a lot of adversity this season, and they found a way to respond well to it. I like the Hawks in the first round. I think they knock off the Heat.
Jonathan, no, like Rob Parker said.
I still think they're a player or two away.
They're missing Clint Capella. He got hurt with last night. Without Clint Capella, Bam is going to eat.
That team is built around guard play, though.
Yeah, but still, you need a big man down that middle. Because who's guarding Bam? Bam gonna eat in the post game. Miami is dogs. They got too many dogs on Miami to get knocked out from this young pup. They're not gonna get punked like that. I'm telling you, Miami, they're deep. Exposure is a great coach. He is the best coach in the East. Let me say that again. He is the best coach in the East. You can't name a coach that's better than Eric Spoelstra. I'll let you try. I'll wait.
That's true. Well, look, I think longevity suggests that, right? Because he's been there a long time.
Yeah, I agree. And then you have Jimmy Butler, Bam, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Those guys are coming. Those guys will be ready. So, yeah. I'll be surprised if the Hawks get 2 games in this series. 2 games. I got Miami in 5. Kyle Lowry ain't gonna let Trae Young just shoot all over him.
I'm gonna say it's just watch out for the Hawks.
I think they can. I think they can definitely make things interesting against Miami, though. I don't think it's gonna be a wash, just like you think, Freddie. I mean, Miami, I think, is the better team, but I do think that the Hawks could at least make it competitive. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that series goes 7, because, I mean, like I said, like Jonathan said, Trae Young he's slow. I mean, I can't even say slowly but surely, because he's figured out his strengths, and like he just is very high on those. Like he's figured out what he can do, what he does well. And his team, they trust him, they follow him. He is their unquestioned leader. But at the same time, I feel like they're a player or 2 away before they can really like make some noise. Like they're always gonna make things interesting. Like they can always, shake things up and make it a tough series, a tough out for anybody that they play against.
Yes,
But
I'm confused though. I
they're still like a player or two away. Yeah.
I said it's gonna be a competitive series. It's gonna be a gentleman's sweep.
Well, I don't think it's. I mean, it might go 6. It might.
So next question: they find a way to shut down Trae Young. The Hawks have no chance.
It's true.
I believe Kyle Lowry. They're gonna throw Kyle Lowry on. They're gonna throw Jimmy Butler on. They got bodies to throw at him. To throw him off his game. We got to remember that. And then, like I said, without Clint Capella in the middle, Bam is going to eat. Bam is going to eat.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
You know, but it is what it is. Hey, but this is another episode of Freddie Facts, where you hear nothing but the facts. We speak nothing but the facts. I'm the triple OG Freddie Facts right here. I want to thank my special guest this morning, Alana Sensei. I want to thank you. Make sure you guys check her out every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central. You have her, Janae, you have Ruth the Truth. Make sure you check them out. They have big things coming, so keep your eyes out on them as well.
Indeed.
Jonathan, want to thank Jonathan for coming on, speaking with judgment. He's working on getting him a guest for next week. Hey, check them out on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific time as well. Just continue to keep your eyes open at the ASAP Network. We're doing big things over here. I want to thank each and everybody for putting all the dedication and hard work. I want to thank the viewers. Make sure you subscribe, follow us, share our content, like us, so you won't miss out. Other than that, we do want to thank you guys. You guys have a happy Easter and happy rest of your weekend.
Indeed.
Happy Easter. Happy Passover.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.